How long have y'all been married? Starting with the 2 months. Who's
Starting
that?
with the
2 months?
Oh, that's me. Come on. Not even.
Not even?
Not even.
What's the date?
So we got married September 3rd. So
wow.
November
Wow.
3rd would be 2 months.
All right.
Yeah.
Woo!
Clap it up. Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
Let me find out I'm a little seasoned on the panel. Because we're 2.5 years, okay?
Yes.
We're going on 3 January, so hey.
I think that makes you next.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so February 2020, does that mean almost 4? Is that right?
Yeah.
I always get it wrong. Okay, boom. My husband don't listen to that part.
He's back in the back. He can't, I don't think he heard it. And for me, 8 years, 9 in February. Okay, he gave me a shake. I'm correct.
So I guess I'm the senior citizen of the group. Well, we have been married 14 years. Thank you. We lived together in sin for like 6 before that, and considered ourselves married back then, so I'd say 20 years.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so I'm curious, what kind of single woman were you? Were you like, I got to get married tomorrow? Were you like, I don't need nobody? I know the answers to some of you, but
who are you
all of
asking?
you. I need everybody to chime in on this one.
You first.
I needed to be married by 25.
In your mind or in?
Any ladies got timelines? You
Yes,
had a little
for sure.
timeline. 25 was mine. So I was definitely the single woman who knew that she wanted to be a wife, for sure.
Where are you from again?
Chicago.
Chicago, okay.
My cousin's in the building. Hey, y'all.
I was the same, but I blame the Texan in me. I'm like, as a
Okay.
Southerner,
Okay.
I
very
thought I
common.
was going to meet him in college, you know what I mean? So by 22, I was concerned. That doesn't mean I should have been concerned, but I'm just saying that was my feeling at the time, was like, what am I doing with my life?
I'll say this. I was the complete opposite. I never thought I'd be married because I never met a man I liked, let alone wanted to marry. I know that sounds twisted. I was a little jaded. I had just seen too much, hurt too much. I also, although I'd come from a family with many that are still married to this day, they weren't necessarily happily married. They were existing in their marriage, and I didn't want that for myself. I said, shoot, I'm just going to dirty backpack around the world. I'm going to sleep with 1 million people. I'm going to have fun. But then you meet the person that changes your life. Yeah.
Okay.
Will you say how old you were when you met him?
When I met Mike, I was 28.
Okay.
Yeah. So, no, 27, about to be 28. Yeah.
Same. I was like closeted, wanted to be married, but outwardly I was like, I'm independent, I'm smart. It was like out of trauma. Like I felt like I couldn't trust anyone to really be with me. I felt like I didn't see any models. Like you said, I didn't see any happy marriages around that. I didn't see one that I could be like, yeah, I would like that. So to me, I was like, I'm never doing that. But in the inside, like, I really want to do that. So I would say I went backwards. Then I realized when I met my husband, I was like, I do want this. Yes.
So I had 2 phases. So in my 20s, I was closeted. I was like, I'm independent, I'm strong, and but I wanted to be. I was in monogamous relationships, so it was long-term relationships for all of my 20s. And then in my 30s, I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm like, I'm not gonna get married. I'm not gonna have kids. I'm gonna be a single auntie, and that is my life. I don't want anybody, and so my 30s, I was very single, very single.
And you meant that? You weren't like...
I meant that.
Okay,
I meant that with
okay.
everything in me. I was like everybody knew. Like I was not. I was traveling. I was starting to experience what being single was for the first time in my 30s, because I'm also from the South, and you're kind of like groomed to be a wife.
Yeah.
And so in the 20s, I was like, well, I'm supposed to do this, so I'm gonna be in monogamous relationships. And then in my 30s, I was like, this is not working out. This is wasting my time. I'm going to have some different experiences and be very single and travel the world and just live life. And I'm never gonna meet someone, and I have no intentions. I don't want to at all. I want to be. I was living. I had a great time. And then I got married at 38. which is what I am now.
Which was 2 months ago. And part of the reason for that question was sort of just to show the breadth of like how we enter this thing. And I love that you got married at 38 and that you were just like, you know, if it comes, it comes. I'm curious for you in Egypt in particular, like when did it shift where you were like, oh, I could do this forever thing?
You mean forever with someone?
Yes, with someone.
Okay, so first I'll tell you, let me add to earlier, I was also I was a very jaded, as you know, we had this story on the Black Love, single woman. I had just seen too many horrible things. Maybe it comes from having brothers. But, but also, I was just, and my family was sort of convinced that I also would never have children. I had no interest. I literally was there when my sister gave birth, and it turned me completely off. It's like, oh my God, I'm supposed to do that. I'm going the complete opposite. So I waited very, very long, right? What was the question again? That's part of being the senior on the panel.
When did it shift? Yeah, when were you like, oh, this is it?
Well, when I fell in love with myself, that's just the truth. I went on this journey of like, I don't even want to date. Don't hook me up with nobody, nothing. I'm falling in love with me. I'm going to church. I'm finding God. I'm studying. I'm becoming better. I'm learning different languages. I'm going, to school to better myself. I'm doing these things to fall in love with myself. And I feel like because I wasn't looking and because I intentionally just sort of was healing, that it opened the door for love to find me. And I feel like it exists around us. Exactly what we're looking for is often right there. But because we're not ready and we got our own work to do, it evades us. So when I was really in my healing and I was ready for just whatever the world was ready to give me, my heart was also open. And my mind was open to something different. And I think that is how my husband was able to get past my guard. And it changed. When I saw that he showed up for me, I didn't have to ask for the simple things. When he really listened, not just, oh yeah, she's talking, I hear you, but really listened to what was important to me. And I couldn't imagine life without this person. And it took a few years, but I couldn't imagine literally going on without him on my journey. He made life better for me. I wanted to make life better for him. I can't cook, and I wanted to learn how to cook so this man could eat and stay alive and stay in my life.
That's you too, KJ?
That's you too.
Go ahead. I digress.
What does it mean that Tommy cooks all my meals, and that I
Is this
would
a
try,
safe
but he
space?
does such a great job.
This is a safe space. Sheila, you be cooking?
So I'm lucky because
Not all of us.
Hold on, y'all hear me out. So this is the thing, right? I'm lucky because my husband eats for health, so I don't have to like do
Season it and
extravagant
stuff.
things. Like I know how to season. Don't do me like that. I can season, but it's like simple asparagus, chicken, boom, 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 and I just keep it, meal prep in the fridge.
Okay. Well, I tried to fry some chicken and didn't know water wasn't supposed to go into grease and the whole
Not y'all's
place,
eyebrows. I
whatever
see
it
those
looked like,
eyebrows.
I literally burned it down. It burned down. We had to move. Frying some chicken, but I'm good now.
Wait.
Now.
Wait,
It was
not
not
the
that long
real
ago.
estate agent, contractor, designer. Now y'all got to
But
get a
not
new
cook.
house
We can be a lot of things.
because you burned it down.
But I'm good now. They'll tell you I just bake. I don't fry.
I love that. Okay.
Don't judge us, y'all.
I love
This is
that.
safe space,
This is
right?
a safe
Lord,
space.
I don't even remember my question.
I remember it, and I'm gonna say this. First of all, ditto. So everything she said,
Except the fire.
well,
There wasn't
Do tell.
so ditto. When I went on the journey of healing myself, I was like, because at first I was like, oh, the single life, this is fun. Like I can date who I want. I can not date anybody. I can go out. And I started finding more comfort in my own company, and I started going on a journey of finding my own hobbies. What do I like? My life stopped revolving around men because, there was a time and I was like, okay, well, this look cute. I think he gonna like this. And then I had to figure out what I like, what I like to wear, what I like to eat, where I like to go by myself. I started taking myself out on dates. And I used to follow, look, real talk. No, seriously, I'm just gonna take a tangent. So we went to college together.
Oh my
we
goodness.
went to college together. Yes, we both went to Florida State.
Florida
yes, I went
State?
to FAMU after Florida State as
My
well.
brothers went to FAMU.
Oh, you went to FAMU? Hold on.
I went to
Y'all
FAMU.
can shout it out.
Hold on, it's all love. It's Florida love. So I I followed her journey to finding love, and it inspired me, actually. Real talk. I never told you this.
KJ, you just saying
No,
that.
no, because you taught me how to quantum leap. You don't remember that? Quantum jumping. Girl, so anyway.
Wait, so
we gonna talk.
now you have to teach
We're gonna talk
us.
later.
Now
We're
we
gonna
need
talk
to
later.
know.
We're going to have to talk later. But for sure,
Wait.
her journey of finding love inspired me. She started saying, because you were in New York at the time. Were you in New York? If I'm lying, I'm flying. So
KJ don't lie,
she was
y'all.
in New York at the time, and she was saying what she was going through. And I was like, hold up, I feel the exact same. She was like, I'm not happy. I don't know what's going on, so I'm going to study myself. And I started doing the same thing. And you just never know who you're inspiring. And I probably was too depressed to be like, girl, I'm depressed. Like, but you keep doing what you're doing. Like, I was probably too. But no, nothing was bringing me joy. No matter how many dates, no matter how much money anybody was generous enough to give, no job, nothing was bringing me happiness. And I was like, I have to find my happy. So that's when, I mean, it's ditto to what you said. And that's when I released it. I released the idea of even a person in my space.
Yeah.
And that is literally when I met Sky. That's when I met Sky. Now, when we, actually started dating is a totally different thing. But when I met him was when I was like, I release any of this. I don't care about looking attractive for a man. I don't care about changing my voice for a guy. And maybe appearing very weak, even though I'm very strong, like tomboy strong, like sports, all that. But that was when I met him. And then when we, started dating was I was a whole nother level of single strength and single wholeness when we started to put the puzzle pieces together. So that's the shift.
What about y'all? Because y'all listening to us being quiet. We want to get in your business. What about you guys?
So, like, when did we know? Interesting. Okay, so for me, like I said, I knew I wanted to get married, like always. Being from the South, I definitely thought I'd be married, like, after college. In college, shoot. So all through my 20s just felt like it hasn't happened. And I would say that, and again, I'm not saying that's a healthy perspective. That's just where I was at that time. And I knew that I wanted a partner. I knew that I wanted to do life with someone. I would say is like what I was craving. And the sooner that started, the sooner life would start in my mind. And so for me, but I still managed to be intentional about dating. I don't look back at that time as like, oh, I wasted so much time worried about this, as much as I made it a priority, right? If I had jobs that wanted to be 24 hours, you know what I mean? In the entertainment industry, that it was like, oh, I'm not going to take that position because I'm not going to have no time to go out anywhere and meet somebody. So I was just really intentional about, Tommy would say I hit on him. I was very intentional about making my interest known. And so when I met Tommy, we very quickly knew that we wanted the same thing. Like, I was not afraid to ask the tough questions, and I wasn't afraid to be vulnerable. So for me, it was like, what are you looking for? What do you want to accomplish besides being a filmmaker? Because I met him at a film festival. And at that point, I was 29, I think. And then it happened real fast because that's how he operates.
So I knew I wanted to be a wife forever, ever, ever. I think when I figured out I wanted to be a teacher, wife was like right next to that. And so I didn't have to come around to it. It had to come around to me. I look him in his eyes. I was waiting for him to come on around. But I was so determined to be a wife that I literally started a club for other single women who wanted to be wives.
I remember that.
Called the
I
Single
do
Wives
too.
Club. It was single women preparing to become wives. And not just because I had this obsession to be a wife, but I told y'all I needed to be married by 25. I told y'all that, right? So at 24, when that clock started ticking, I had to start really making some decisions. And really long story short, I ended up manifesting this man that I wrote a letter to God asking for by my 25th birthday. And he showed up at 24 and a half. And really quickly, we got engaged. Like, the day he met me, he told me I was going to be his wife. So I just thought I was God's girl. And he literally just answered my prayers. But obviously, that was not the case. And I believe it was because I had set myself up to believe that this is what I need to have next. No matter what it looks, whatever condition it comes in, I had convinced myself that I'm not complete unless somebody comes along to complete me. And so I literally almost rode off into the sunset with what would have literally been my life would have been different, for sure. My life would have been different. And so after that relationship that also was an abusive relationship, I realized I was not ready to be a wife. But I still had a desire to be a wife. And so I started the Single Wives Club just as a resource for myself and other single women who have no clue of what being a wife is all about. And y'all, I'm a wife now, and I still am kind of clueless. But these conversations are what is important. And that was what was the premise of the Single Wives Club. It's like, why are we waiting until we're wives to figure out what it takes to be a wife? So I always knew, y'all. I always knew.
Can I
Wasn't
share?
ready,
Can
but
I
was
share something? Just kind of piggybacking off of what I love that you were talking about manifesting as well. I think often we're doing it without even knowing. A lot of us, we set our intentions or we put just the wheels of the universe into motion without even knowing. So I just imagine if we could be intentional with that energy. And so just looking back, even though I wasn't looking for a man and I was working for myself and falling in love, I still wanted love. If I'm being honest, we all do, right? We want love, we want a partner, we want to even if we're saying stay away from me, our heart wants it. So I had created a vision board right around age 25. I started cutting out all these bridal magazine pictures, my dress, the car I was going to show up to the wedding in, the man, how tall he was. So I would move his picture up a little higher than mine to make sure he was just a 6'3". There we go. And, I would do all these things. I'd put the words next to it that he said to me at the wedding and all these different things. And then when it wasn't happening or when I was trying to force it, right? I was just trying to force relationships that didn't work and force this man because on paper, he looked like he could be him, and it wasn't happening. And I was having the opposite effect. It was making me sick. It was, really draining my spirit. I let it go. The board still existed, but I let it go. And I went and worked on me and healed. So funny enough, when Mike and I were getting married, he was waiting at a window for me to come down, and I saw him from the back, and I saw that exact image, suit, the back of his head that I had put on my vision board. Not to mention, for some reason, when I was making it, I had Michael Jackson, like the real Michael Jackson's poster, from the off the wall.
Oh, wait, yes, because her husband's last name is Jackson,
I had that real poster,
Michael
like
Jackson.
right there next to the board.
Your
and
manifestation was
Michael
wild.
Jackson.
Yes.
I just said,
It works.
for real. It just like really when we set our intentions
Yeah.
and we become very clear on what we want and what we don't want,
Yeah.
and then let it go. Trust God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
Don't try to force it. I did. It did not work out well.
Also facts.
But also hearing you, talk about that manifestation of what you want, but then all of us doing the work toward what we want, which is either self-love in some cases, being at peace, not having the relationship, or in my case, being intentional and making the time. Like, there's still work involved with getting from point A to point B and being okay with where you are and being intentional about finding joy and peace at that time. And so that's what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Can I ask a question?
Of course.
Ooh, what season of marriage do you feel like you're in? I don't have an answer, so don't
How
bring it
many
back
are
to me,
there,
but I
Egypt?
want
Let
it
us
from you.
know.
I was gonna say I don't know how many there are, but the honeymoon is
It's where you at. You
dope,
at that.
okay? The honeymoon is going up for me. I'm having a great time.
2
As you
months,
should.
almost 2 months.
Period. Okay, I feel like I'm. Wait, what,
There's
what
a
is it?
heckler. There's a heckler. Tommy.
Tommy. I mean, it could don't.
can.
I feel like I'm in fall. I'm gonna just go with fall because if I think about fall, I feel like fall is an underrated season. I feel like when you first get married, you in summer, it's real hot. Everything is like, oh my gosh, and now everything is gonna be like, and then you have to I feel like the first year is hardest because you have to contend with your dream with reality, like what's happening that first year. But I feel like where we are now is like calm. Like we can, like almost like the way a leaf like goes like this, like we can really let each other be. I can be myself, he can be himself, we can come together, we can do things. And for me, I feel like what led up to before being married is actually I'm reaping the benefits now, is not treating being by myself as like a punishment, or something that I'm trying to end, like, oh, if I can just last until I don't have to be with myself anymore. And I found like, I before I got married, I was asking myself, so what would you want from another person? Like, what is it that you think this man is gonna give you that you can't give yourself or that you don't have? What hole is there that needs to be filled? And I feel like, I mean, I was still working through that in my marriage, but now I feel like I've done some work, some healing, that I feel like we can just like kind of coast on. Oh, we on cruise control.
Okay,
That's what it is.
Okay.
Cruise control, just like for now. I feel like
You are
I'm
stunning.
still early.
I'm
but
sorry, I couldn't hear. You are stunning.
She is.
Stunning.
You're
I'm like, what
guessing me.
did she say? I ain't heard a word she said.
Blah, 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 blah.
You're like, yes, yes, continue to talk.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We always like, wow, I love it. I love it.
I'm just getting the curls because when she's looking at y'all, I'm like, yes, curls.
What season are you in?
Me? I mean, spring. I say that because I feel like we're probably in a really like smooth phase, right? Is spring like the leaves have fallen in winter, so now like there's bright colors, the grass and the leaves are coming back, and so I think that after 8 years and 3 kids quickly, and 2 businesses quickly, and a lot of responsibility and weight and growth, we're finally in a moment, I shouldn't say finally, you know what I mean? Like nothing is really a destination, it's all a journey. But we're, I think, in a space of almost cruise control. You know, we're in a space of like, of anticipation and, what is the word? Optimism, right? Like this feels like I can see forward and it's clearer. You know, I mean, I'm mad he's like in the back because I want to be like, what do you think? Whatever, y'all hear from him in 20 minutes. But yeah, I would say that's where we are, where I am. I don't know where he is.
I feel like so we've definitely been through many seasons, and we've done it multiple times at this point. At first it's that new love, that good love, that spicy love that I can't keep my hands off. You get your tail in this pantry, boy.
Yeah. Pantry.
Type of love.
Yeah. Last time you were here, you said swinging from the chandeliers.
I did.
That's what she said.
So
we have
do
it
that
recorded.
sometimes. But I feel like, there's really like ebbs and flows in a marriage, and until you find your pace and your coasting. So first few years, it was that kind of love. And then afterward, it was just this, oh my God, what is this? Is this when life gets hard and kids be kidding?
All
And
the
you're
time.
like, I didn't know that our relationship could change so fast and so dramatically. And how do we find ourselves here? And how do we find tools and help to get through this stage when we know we love each other and want to stay together, but we drive each other nuts kind of phase and that psycho season. And then you get back to that sense of normalcy after you've put in the work and realized that the love is worth fighting for, it's worth working for. What we have, it's better than what we don't have type of thing. Then we go through the working season of, okay, we got our love. What are we leaving for our kids? What do we really want? What do we want to show them? What kind of legacy do we want to build? So we went through the working, building businesses, building estates, building teaching phase. We have 3 girls, 22, 11, she's here, and 4. And that was God playing a joke on us. But Harper is my baby now. I love my baby some, but really shop was closed. Season. And so now we're kind of in this coasting season. Not to say that it's going to stay here, because we know we're going to go again, but you got to enjoy the moments and be fully present for them, show up for all of them, do what each season actually requires of you as well. When it's time to put in the work, because there's hard times, they're going to come. It's not always the honeymoon. Is you got to show up for that too. Yeah.
When you guys think about when you got married, and like the age that you were, the time that you spent single or not, sorry girl, what would you say, what do you think about like who you were at that time versus if you, KJ, had got married 10 years prior? You know what I mean? Like, just where you are in your relationship, like, did you, now looking back, did it feel too late? Did it feel right on time? Do you think you could have done it at any other point?
I would have ruined it at any other point. I think what is our saving grace, I feel, is that we went through a lot of the issues with other people so that we didn't have to put each other through that stuff. So we
But you went through them, yeah,
We
and
went
you learned,
through them,
yeah.
but we didn't do that together. And we both struggled separately before we found each other. And so I think we knew that when we met, we had something worth fighting for if it ever came to that.
Yeah.
I definitely want to chime in on this one because I hear this a lot. And although I was in my 30s very single and very happy being single, a lot of my friends are unhappy being single. And I challenge them to enjoy it because I think the enjoyment, like we talked about earlier, is going to bring your person. I feel like you're attracting what you feel, how you feel
show
about
up
yourself.
as your happy whole self.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, I certainly would have ruined it, like 100%. 100%, it would have been up in flames. I also had an opportunity to get married. You know, like I said before, I was in a serious monogamous relationships prior. I had been proposed to twice. I mean,
Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay, sis.
she's a good one.
Yes.
That I'm that
Always
girl.
been wifey material. Let's be clear. But I feel like it was God's protection.
Yeah.
Because in both instances, I was like, this is not what I want. And it was God's protection so that I had to learn the lessons with those people. I had to figure out what I want and what I was not going to stand for. And I also had to find myself. And so I really, really challenge my friends and anyone else who feels like, oh, it's too late. It's too late. I feel like it's perfect timing for me.
Right.
I feel like I couldn't have found a better person. I couldn't have found my soulmate had I not done the soul work. And
Yeah, I think you should say that again. Okay.
I wouldn't have found my soulmate had I not done the soul work.
I know that's right.
And that's the stuff people don't want to do.
Okay, give it up, give it up.
Oh, hey, baby.
While Sheila's answering, y'all get ready for some questions. I see we have a microphone that can come out in here. So somebody let me know if you have a question.
Okay, so I too thought that I needed to be married younger, and I think that that's no coincidence. And earlier on our wellness panel, we had talked about the crooked broom metaphor. Y'all, I don't need to say it again. Y'all were here. Everybody was here.
I want to know
right?
what it
We
is.
might have some new people.
Oh, okay. So the crooked room metaphor is basically, it references this study where they put participants in a room with a crooked floor and a crooked chair and told them to stand up straight. And 35% of the participants tilted themselves but reported to the researchers that they were standing up straight. And so it's very, like when we're having these conversations, I always want to bring that piece back in. The larger structures outside of us that create the things that we think are our own desires or our own opinions or our own thoughts, they just bloom out of nowhere, that a lot of times we're indoctrinated with a lot of ideas about what it means to be a wife, of women especially. And so I think it's no coincidence that all of us up here, we thought about being a wife, dreamed about it, meditated about it, you know, all of these things. And so I'm glad that I didn't get what I wanted, because what I wanted was, I thought, like you, I thought, oh, as soon as I got to get a degree and a husband, honey. I can't have
MRS.
no degree.
I got to
Right.
get an MRS.
And so then I just kept getting more degrees because I didn't have a husband. But
Same.
right? But the whole point is, like, everywhere you go, there you are. Like, if you are framing marriage as an escape from a period, I rap, you know what I'm saying, freestyle. So, Ace, don't come for me. But I think if you're framing marriage as like an escape or like a fixing to your problems, like they will always show up. It'll be cool, things will be cool for 2 years or whatever, and then those same problems are gonna show up. So I think that I'm glad that I didn't, if I would have chosen marriage at that time, it would have been from a place of lack and fear. Like, I gotta get somebody now or else I'll be alone with myself. You know what I mean? Like, if it's framing like, oh my God, me being with myself is like a punishment, then what are we talking about here?
Right. All right, y'all go ahead and give it up for her. We'll take, okay, I see 2 hands. Y'all, whoever has the mic can just get to whoever you can quickly. Thank you. We might only have time for 2. Go for it. Let us know your name.
Hi, my name is Takara.
Hey, Takara.
Takara.
Takara at Ask the Martins. Okay, they be sharing knowledge too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Really quickly, because all of y'all are like powerful, bad women. And I know as a another powerful bad woman.
Period.
I know that's right.
I have a really hard time with partnership with my husband with asking for help because I have done it me for so long, and I have literally had breakdowns. We're like, I need help, and he's like, well, I don't know what you do. Like, tell me. And so it's like, how do you ladies as wives, as powerful women, balance that I am powerful, but then like take a step back and allow yourself to ask for that help?
I ask for help as often as possible. It's a practice like anything else. So if we have to practice self-love, or we have to practice positive affirmation so that we believe that we're beautiful, that we're bad, that we're, great wives and mothers and friends and whatever, business owners, we also have to practice the things that we're bad at. So if you're bad at asking for help, ask as much as possible, even when you don't need to. Could you pick that up? Could you take that? I ask for everything, especially when he's around, because yes, and I don't see anything wrong with it because he basks in helping me. He enjoys the process. And he's like, she need me. She need me.
Look, her husband is definitely clapping for that. He's ready for it.
And it's true, baby. It's
Right
true.
answer.
But it's like anything we have to practice. That's my point.
I'll say this. My mom had me when she was 18. She had my sister when she was 19. She was very young. She was a single mother, pulled herself up from the bootstraps and took great pride in being an independent single woman doing it all. And so as a child, that was very impressionable on me. I thought that that's what I had to be, is do it all. So I put an S on my chest. For everybody and everything, I had to just be and do and overdo sometimes. And that was a badge of honor. You know how some of us walk around, like I called it the stiletto hustle. New York City, girl, yeah, I'm independent. I'm doing it all. I got my car, I got my house. I ain't need no man for nothing. And so, and honestly, it's exhausting. And it's depleting when we do that and we say those things, then essentially not only the universe, but men pick up on that as well. And we sit around with our girlfriends and wonder, well, why can't I find somebody? Or what am I doing? What's wrong with me? And what message am I sending? You're sending the message that you are independent, you got your own, you don't need a man for nothing, you don't ask for help. So where does he fit in? Where does he find himself in your life? Because for him, that's exhausting. What I had to do was take the S off my chest, right? We don't, as black women, we don't need to be superhuman. Why did we adopt that? Why do we think that's healthy? No other nationality, no other country values hard, abusive grunt work and literally celebrates it the way that we do. So I think we need to talk ourselves out of what we've been programmed to believe. But also, when I decided to say, I'm going to ask for help. Why? Because he's capable, and I do need help, and I need to take some of this load off of me. And when he started helping, baby, I was addicted to it. Baby, can you? And then can you? And so Mike's right there. He'll tell you the honey-do list never ends now. I'm asking for help all the time. But really, it's about balance, right? And giving ourselves a break. Give yourself a break.
Take the S off your chest and put a D up there. And that D is for damsel in distress. Please, help me. Please, help me. Most of us, we have proven it. I have proven that I can do it. I can take care of myself. I am still alive and living well. I did it. I ain't got to prove it no more. Please. Come on. Please help.
I think we can do one more. I see pointing here. Here. Oh, okay. Go for it, girl. And Relationship Pod, let us know, the podcast. Real love scenario.
Just a very simple question, because I know marriage and partnership is about a lot of hard work. It's about doing things and soul searching. But I just want to know, what is the simplest joy that you have with your partner? Just something that's mindless, that's not heavy lifting, just the simplest joy of marriage.
Can I answer this?
Yeah.
So it's funny because I feel like before I got married, I thought I would look forward to the big things. Wedding, honeymoon, like the big things. It's actually the very mundane things that bring me the most joy. Like one of my favorite things to do is that we do our own things, but together. So we'll be in the house and he'll be doing something, I'll be doing something, and it's just like, it's quiet. Sometimes because he has 2 children, I don't have any yet. And so sometimes our house is really quiet, and I love it. We'll just sit in quiet, and every now and then I'll be like, hey. He's like, hey. I'm like, okay. I love that we can just be. Like, it's a very quiet, or just something as simple as like, I get up in the morning and I'm like, oh, hey. It's like the most basic things. Yeah, like, that's my friend. You wanna go, Codie?
Mine is like, because we work together. We have these 3 kids, so we're together all the time. And I appreciate that, especially now in the spring season. But I honestly love just, we bonded over TV and movies when we met. I love just being able to like lay on our couch, watch something with our popcorn and our Voodoo Heat seasoning and Reese's Pieces on the side, and just do that. Like, I just love it.
Okay, so Sky and we're like big kids, and that's my favorite. Like, it's just a character trait. So it's interesting because people take us so seriously. Like, we'll walk in somewhere and people are like, and I'm like, trust us, we're big kids, literally. And we have like this baby talk that we do. So if he gets a little rigid or tight, or he starts feeling a little, pressure, I'm just like, hey baby, hey pumpkin. And he's like, hey pumpkin. And then we just, it's just this little thing that we do, and it instantly gets us back into who we are instead of this persona that people think we are or expect us to be. It's like, hey, we're here. Come on, let's get back. And we work together a lot. So it's like, we experience it often. And so we have to tap in like, it's a pumpkin man, And it's mundane. It's really simple, and no one gets it. No one understands it, but it's our thing.
Number one, this cannot be the last question, because this is just too much fun. But ours is armpit love. So, well, we just, so it's not anything. We just like to sit around Netflix and chill, because that's like mindless. It's not work. It's not kids. It's not phone calls. And so when the kids are gone, we have a babysitter and the house is quiet. I'm like, assume the position. He's like, come on. No shit. Hold on. He's like, come on. And then we snuggle, or, he lays across me and I rub his head, and it just feels good, and it's gentle, peaceful. We don't have to be anything for anybody.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure where the armpit love was
I
gonna
know.
go.
I thought you were gonna like,
girl, tell me about that later. Sexual. Get your mind out the gutter. It was not sexual.
I was ready though. I was ready. I was receptive.
No. You was gonna be trying that later. She was like, I thought it was armpitting. I don't know.
I was like,
no.
Go on.
I would probably say the drive-in movie if I had to.
Really?
That's
I'm
like
just jealous. Shoot, we don't have drive-ins in
Y'all
LA.
have drive-ins in LA? Well, we only have one, I believe, Starlight. Check it out. But that is like a simple car date.
Oh, I can do that.
We do nap dates. We got little babies. Nap dates are lit. Yes. Simple things, though. Doing life with your best friend, though, I think is the best way.
Absolutely.
There's so many little small things, but it's just like through all of these things, I get to do it with you. Okay, I'll take it.
I know, Egypt, but we gotta let the
It can't
fellas
be the
on.
I feel like we didn't even get into any challenges. We didn't get into no tea.
What's the tea, Sheila?
I'm just saying, do y'all feel like that? I feel like we talked about all the positive.
I have a feeling the tea is right here, though. Okay.
All right,
the way she grabbed that microphone.
My thing, I love joy, experiencing joy between me and my husband. We have been married for 14 years as well. We have 3 kids. And I got married young. So I have gone through these seasons. We've gone through them together and independently going through seasons. How do you find your joy independently in a marriage outside of being wife, mother, all of those things, and businesswoman? How do you find that joy independently from the?
I would love to.
I have no idea.
I'll dive
Somebody
in
else
right
to do
here.
it. I have not got that answer.
Yeah,
Would you like to dive
I'll take
in
it
first?
too, but you go.
Okay. I feel you. I am you. I've been you. Still you. What I'll say is it's very easy when you have the responsibilities of life and kids and husband and house and everything, to start losing yourself, your light starts to dim. We have to be very cognizant that that doesn't happen. Be proactive to ensure that you still keep your dates with yourself. If your thing is, every 2 weeks I get my nails done, don't cancel that. I gotta get a facial once a month, don't cancel it. Enjoy your time with your girls. Make sure you have in your fostering relationships with your girls, because I think sisterhood is so important. It's imperative, but not just any people. The right people, those who understand married life, and their answer is not just leave him all the time. You know what I mean? But also, I started keeping a gratitude journal. And when I have those rough days, as you know, you wake up in the morning and you have this intention to do all these things for your...
It's the Trap Museum, I think. Across the street.
Like, oh, we just going. You wake up in the morning and you have this list of things you want to accomplish for yourself, and then somehow that list gets pushed to the end because now everybody else has a list of things they need you to accomplish. And then you start to be disappointed in yourself that you're not accomplishing your goals and your own dreams. I have found the way to recalibrate myself is I keep a gratitude journal. Instead of with a list of things to do, a list of things to experience, okay? And I write down 5 things every day that I'm grateful for, and it helps me balance out my mental when I'm starting to feel, that things just are going wrong. No, it's like, look how much is going right. And yes, I have this list of things to do, but here's my purpose, my passion, and my power list. These are the things I need to do for myself that are just as, if not more important than the list of things that we have to do, because things be doing what they got to do. So I think that is how we keep balance in ourselves and in our life. But you have to remember that if you want a happy marriage, you got to be a happy you too. You have to show up and literally be the energy that you want to exist in your marriage. And we have the opportunity every day that we wake up and your feet hit the floor and the devil say, damn, she's up. You have the opportunity to press the reset button, even if you guys are so far along on the wrong road. Just by you making that shift in yourself to reset, it can literally reset the marriage, the tone.
She said it more eloquently, but just
know how to answer.
being intentional, period. And I think that's within the relationship, but also within the relationship you have with yourself. Being intentional about how you take care of you and when, and making sure that it happens. Now, y'all, you know I'm about to get cussed out by my team here. Although no one's waving at me and going like this.
Oh, they started waving.
Oh, okay. Let's wrap it up. A heavy wrap it up. But everyone else is pointing at her. What's your question?
One more here and one more there.
I said to him the other day that I think choosing your significant other is the person that you choose to have the mirror looking at you and all the things that are wrong with you. You don't mind them saying it to you every day, right? The person who you're committed to tell me about me, and I'm respecting it because I love you that much. And so it's not always easy. Right? Especially as people who know who they are, it's not always easy to hear that truth. So what tools do you use when you have to face yourself because your partner is like, hey, you messing up, yo, right? What do you do with that?
That's real.
So I'll say something short, which is that we've interviewed over 200 married couples for the Black Love docuseries, and the one thing that I know for sure, the one thing that I know in my soul when people say marriage is work, is that it's the work you're willing to do on yourself. And so I'm sure everybody individually
That's a bar, Codie. That's a bar. That's good.
has their tools, but at the end of the day, it's however you can get to that. If you are listening to your partner and wondering, is he or she right? Or, should I be looking at this differently? Actually asking yourself that question, going to therapy if you're not going to therapy, making a gratitude journal so you're actually checking in with yourself, reading self-help books, but truly being intentional about the work that you do on yourself is, to me, that's how I would answer that question.
Shout out to therapy. I'll share what I learned is that, yes, shout out to therapy, is I said this on Couch Conversations, is I thought the therapist was going to be like, Shelah, you are right. Everything you're saying is right. He is always wrong. Why can't he see it? She
didn't say that? I'm surprised.
She didn't say that. I don't know why. But I just knew. Think you're right. And I got checked, okay? And this is one thing that I will take away. You answered the question in your question. your partner, the person that you choose to be around you, is in proximity to you the most, is absolutely a reflection of you. It's a reflection of either things you want, you desire, you lack, whatever. That's your journey to figure out. I would say this: the top complaints that you have about your partner, like if I ask you right now, like, what is it that just gets on your nerves about them? I wish they would write them down, those 3 to 5 things. Those are things you need to acknowledge within yourself more deeply. Ooh. Whatever it is, like if you just feel like this person, they're not consistent. Is there any way in which you aren't consistent with yourself? Do you break boundaries with yourself? Do you go back on your own commitments to things? And so I think that is the best tool that therapy gave me.
Bars.
Right? Shout out to therapy. Because there's a very strong impulse to project when you don't want to deal with it. You don't want to own it. It's easier to put it on the other person. But the things that charge you the most, like those things, those are things you need to look at within yourself.
All right.
Who wants to do that?
Ladies, last words.
Oh, I don't like being wrong. I don't like him to tell me I'm wrong. Don't point it out. It's great. All's good.
Period.
Love it. Okay, well, go. KJ got it.
Okay, so after I'm a 38-year-old woman, and I'm in the arts. I'm in a creative field. So when, my partner, I can only speak on my partner. We're also in couples therapy. We started before we got married, just because we were like, this seems like a good idea. I trust him. This is the person I choose to spend my life with. So we always start with, there is no ego. We try, when we speak with one another, to eliminate the ego and speak from the purest place possible. Now, we got married after we went through so much and went to therapy independently. But now he has a proven track record of being right, and I have a proven track record of being right. It's like, I'm not even going to bring it up unless I'm right about it. And he's not even going to bring it up unless he's right about it. So I might as well do what he was talking about doing. Or I might as well change what he's telling me I need to change, because we have a track record at this point. It's like, oh, okay, well, you've been right about 100 other things. Then, I'm sure you're not telling me something that's going to harm me. So we try to talk to each other from the purest place possible. And if there is ego involved, we have to come back to this conversation later. Let's come back later, and we'll talk about it later.
I think also I had to explain to myself that I chose this husband. To your point, you got to trust the person you chose. But my husband is not a hater. My husband is not hating on me. And if that is the base level foundation, that he is not going to hate on me, that he wants the best for his wife, if I'm operating with that, even if I don't like what his best might be today, I know that at the foundation of the best, it's what he believes is good for me. And so if your husband ain't a hater, listen to him.
That's it.
But I think I want to add.
If he is a hater, though, that's a different conversation.
I just want to add one thing to that. Also, just sort of understanding who's stronger in certain areas. Right?
Yeah.
So what I love specifically about my marriage, it really is a yin and yang. Where I lack certain skills or ability or understanding, he fits and fixes and nestles, and where he may lack some understanding, and I fit, and that works. I don't want somebody just like me. We should want a helpmate, someone who complements us, and so together we just killing it. So for me, I understand that my husband, he's the idea person. Yeah. He literally is like a visionary. He sits back and calls it and creates, but I take the ball and run. I'm the busy one, the follow through, the quarterback, and I come back and say, okay, look what I did. And then he's like, but tweak that, So, and that is why we work. We complement each other. So in his area of strength, I won't challenge that, because usually he's right. And in my area of follow through and the way I do things, he won't question it, because usually I'm thorough.
Are we the same person?
We are.
Love it. On that note, y'all saw them waving hands, so we're gonna wrap that thing up. Thank you so much.